Hi, I'm Janine Batters and you're listening to the BCG podcast. Today we are lucky enough to be speaking with our Research and Extension Officer, Genevieve Clarke. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
Hopefully after today you'll learn a little bit more about Jen, who we're very lucky to have here at BCG. So we're going to jump in as we do. Jen, what is your role at BCG?
My current role at BCG is a Research and Extension Officer, and I also play a part in coordinating the operations of the trials as well.
So what does that mean, the operations?
I guess organising logistics of who's doing what, where we're going, making sure all the equipment's right to be used and going to do the job well.
A massive job, because how many trials do we have, Jen, and where are they based?
Yeah, so this year we've got around about 150 trials spreading from up in Balranald, New South Wales, across to Colbernab and Eastville towards sort of Bendigo Way, down to Cowkey, around near Horsham, across to Caniva. So we're really reaching all sorts. And of course we've got a fair few trials around the Mallee as well. So
we're very lucky to have Jen because, as you can see, she has got a very big job to do. Obviously you're very well supported by the BCG team as well, though.
Yeah, great team.
Excellent. So that's the operations side. Tell me about your research and extension sides. What are some of your interests in the research space?
Yeah, so research-wise, I've been around BCG sort of 5 or 6 years now, and I've come from a graduate role into, I guess, a more experienced role now. And over the years, I've been part of quite a few different projects. I guess I probably sway towards the side of cereals more and the agronomic kind of trials, so different varieties and their management and how that affects things. And yeah, I've dabbled a little bit in frost work and disease work as well, a bit with canola too. So yeah, I've had a bit of a suite of projects that I've worked on. But yeah, I guess when you're working with a really good team, it definitely makes the project a lot more enjoyable. Yeah, I really enjoy the extension side and having the connection with growers to kind of make it all a bit more real, I think, and applied.
Excellent. I think that sounds perfect. So you said you started at BCG in a graduate position. What brought you to Birchip? Like, it's a long way from Sydney to Birchip. What was going through your mind?
Vanilla slice. No. So in the middle of trying to write up my honours thesis, one of the lecturers told me I should apply for this role, and I thought I don't have time to do that, so I just whipped something together, and this role was a graduate program with Agriculture Victoria, agronomy focus. So I thought, I'll go for that because I'm not 100% sure what I would like to do, and this role was 18 months and you did 3 6-month placements. So I did 6 months with Agriculture Victoria in Horsham, and then I did 6 months with BCG, and I did 6 months with Tyler's in Rapanyup, so with an agronomist. And then, yeah, once that finished up, I ended up back here because BCG seemed like a pretty good fit for me. So that's how I've ended up in Birchip, yeah, coming from Sydney.
So you mentioned during your honours thesis, what was that on?
Oh, yeah, so Sydney Uni degree, which I think has now since changed, was 4 years, so I guess compulsory honours in your 4th year. My honours was looking at, I did some research on a property just outside of Wellington in New South Wales where the farmer was doing cell grazing, so small paddock sizes, very heavy stocking rates and short grazing timings, basically crash graze and move the animals on. So what I was looking at there was whether these animals that were going in at such a high stocking rate and for a short amount of time whether they were selectively grazing or not, and what that grazing was doing to the ground cover and the composition of the pastures that were there. So,
did you love it?
I did love it. It came with its challenges for sure. It was really great. And I guess my first taste of field research.
How did you know ag was for you? Thunder outside. Might get a little bit of that today.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. There's a thunderstorm. There's
because
a thunderstorm
I'm a very
outside.
distracted person. No, well, I think it did take me a little bit to kind of settle on ag as a career choice, I guess. So the toss-up for me was between fashion design and agriculture, which are probably two complete opposite ends of the spectrum, really. But how I ended up in ag is that, so I'm from Sydney originally, but my aunt and uncle have a small beef cattle property near Tamworth. So a lot of my time growing up, family holidays, is on the farm and, helping out where I could be helpful. I guess developed an interest from there in agriculture and that sort of connection there, even while living in the city. And then fashion design and textiles is a bit of a passion I've got on the side. But I'm not really a competitive person, and I thought ending up in a competitive industry like fashion is probably not for me. So I kept that one as a side hobby and decided agriculture was a better choice to keep me happy in a career.
But that's not on the back burner, is it? You're doing a course.
Yeah, so in COVID, I thought I better have something to do with the potential of a lot of downtime, which didn't actually happen when you work in agriculture, but signed up for a fashion design and pattern making course, and I haven't really gotten around to completing the assignments yet. But yeah, I guess that's sort of, kept a bit of an interest open for me there and develop a few more skills. So maybe I'll design some new BCG uniforms or something.
That'd be good. We'd take that. So is there any sort of particular type of fashion? I know that if you talk to someone in fashion, they'll say, oh, I like this era.
I guess there are some designers that I personally are probably more with my taste, and it's all that classic sort of design. But what I really like about fashion and fashion design, this is so off topic of an agricultural podcast, but
no, it's not. It's about Jen. It's about Jen.
And what I really like about fashion is that putting on a good outfit or a certain outfit on someone just can completely change how they feel about themselves. So it's not necessarily about a certain design that I love. I just like the way that clothes can just completely change how people feel about themselves. And
I love that.
I like that. Yeah.
And I get that. I'll remember an event by what I was wearing. So I do get that connection.
And I also feel like clothes need to be practical. I'm all for pockets in skirts and dresses and stuff.
Me too. A dress with pockets. Everybody wins. So what's your favourite radio station?
Yeah, I don't really listen to a lot of radio. I probably spend most of my time on Spotify, random playlist. But yeah, when I get over that, it's probably going to be Triple J.
What do you mean by random playlist? What are some of the songs?
I'm totally not answering that.
You don't want to answer it. You're too embarrassed.
I'm not embarrassed. I just, you listen to a Spotify playlist and then it goes a bit rogue and
yeah, I know.
Yeah, a bit
I know
weird.
What you mean.
So.
I get it. So what lights you up?
I love just being outside and really having a connection to the world around me rather than being behind a computer screen or anything like that. So I love, bushwalking, hiking, camping, running and hanging out with my dog.
And your dog is
My dog is a border collie and she's very special.
She's very special. She's beautiful.
An absolute Houdini at the moment. So
yes, I did hear she got out again today, but that's okay. We were on the lookout.
Yeah, neighbourhood watch.
Neighbourhood watch, and she's a lovely dog. Jen says to me, "Stop razzing her up." I'm like, I can't help that. What makes you tick? You love being outside. Travel then? Do you love travelling?
I love travel. Now the world's open again. It's so exciting. I've been super lucky in my life to have done a fair bit of travelling and it started when I was 16 and there was the opportunity to get on a plane for the first time, might I mention, and head to India for a month. So went across there, trekked on the Himalayas for, about 3 weeks and then did a week working in a little school on top of a mountain in northern India.
Wow.
And that was absolutely amazing and life-changing and I definitely caught the travel bug after that. So.
Was that with school?
It was an organisation that works through schools, so it wasn't a school trip. No teachers on on the trip, just a few people, making sure we didn't walk off a cliff or anything like that. So a lot about leadership and trying to manage yourselves as well at the same time, and a big learning curve. And I mean, one of the requirements was that you had to pay for the whole trip yourself, so it meant getting your job and working towards something. So yeah, I think that probably instilled some pretty good lessons in me.
Which were?
To put the time and effort in and work hard for what you want, and you'll be rewarded at the end. And also I think I like to see how other people live. I know that the upbringing I have had has been incredibly privileged, and to know that there's people out there that don't live like that, and they have obviously different priorities in life and different things that they struggle with.
I think a lot of those things that you're talking about, like I can see a lot of that with what Jen does, to good leader. I can see that that's obviously that trip shaped you a lot. Was there a key message out of that trip that you took away and then thought, I want to travel more?
I think just grew up on the northern beaches, and it's called the Insular Peninsula for a reason. And I think it's very easy to sort of get buried in your own world. And I mean, they say first world problems. It's a term for a reason, because people do get bogged down in it. And I love travelling in third world countries and helping out where I can, the sort of volunteer trips and that sort of thing, and just to really appreciate how other people live and the challenges that there are overseas. So I've had a few sort of agricultural themed overseas trips as well, so like subsistence farming, and I guess the challenges over there, and they don't necessarily want machinery that's going to be able to do a job in a quarter of the time, because they need to employ 8 people, and efficiency means that people lose jobs. So yeah, the world's a complex place, and it's easy to forget that not everyone sort of lives the way that you do. And yeah, I guess travelling it really helps you appreciate how good you have it in life. And I know I've had a very privileged upbringing, and I think, we're in the position where we can go out and help people in a really special way. So I think you can't grow up like this and not give back to people who don't have as much as you. So I love travelling and, keeping grounded with my life and keeping good perspective on where that stands in relation to others. So, yeah.
Well, I think that I can see a lot of that helps you in your work with BCG. So I think keep travelling. And where else have you been?
I have been to Europe. So I did England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, France, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, then New Zealand. I've been to Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Hawaii, and just recently went to Canada.
What was the highlight there? I haven't heard about this trip yet.
Oh, Canada was so good. So in my true style, I went for 3 weeks and spent 2 weeks in a tent and outdoors hiking. So, absolute highlight is being in the mountains and seeing all the wildlife. So many bears and elk and even a wolf. And,
wow.
It was absolutely amazing. So loved it.
Oh, that does sound amazing and quite relaxing.
Yeah, no, I don't really do relaxing holidays.
But obviously being in nature would for you be relaxing in a way. Like you're busy, but
I'm the kind of person that I'll go for a run for 2 hours, and I find that quite relaxing.
Yeah, you were telling me that yesterday you did a 21k run just for fun.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
So I did a 21k run just for fun.
What was on your playlist?
I had 2 hours to play with, so I did a couple of podcasts and then some upbeat motivational music at the end. I really struggled.
21k is a long way. What were some of the podcasts you're listening to?
So I was actually listening to one that is called The Minefield, which is an ABC podcast hosted by Waleed Ali and a guy called Scott Stevens, and they kind of talk about a whole lot of different topics, and I guess they kind of drill into the philosophical side of things. It's very distracting when you're running. Yeah.
It's good
I
though.
listen to normal podcasts as well.
Yeah, what else? What else do you listen to?
Oh, I love a bit of comedy stuff as well as, stories and, some other things I listen to when I'm running, and that's probably a bit of motivation to get me through is I listen to stories from people who've been through really tough things, like crashing a plane and having to survive in a desert for 2 weeks. And I think, if they can do this, I can run another 5Ks.
There you go. That's good.
Yeah,
Get
it's all
you
a mental
going.
game, and podcasts help sometimes.
That's good. So hopefully this will be inspiring you.
Yeah.
So you said, I was just interested, I picked up before that you said you had to pay for your trip to India with a part-time job. What was your job?
So this is going back when I was probably started working towards the trip when I was 14. So up until then I'd worked delivering newspapers as a kid and a little bit of babysitting and dog walking money. But for the trip I started working at a pharmacy. So I ended up working there from when I was 14 till when I was 18, I think. Paid for a few trips with that job. So that was a big learning curve as well when I was quite young, to sort of learn a fair bit about looking after people and remedies that people might need, and knowing when to turn to someone else for advice and when I can handle certain things. So
It would have been an interesting job, I'd imagine.
yeah, it was interesting, and I was quite shy to begin with. Definitely brought me out of my shell.
It's good. So you talked about podcasts. How about books? Do you have a favourite author? Hates books.
No, I don't. I don't hate books at all. I actually have a someone made fun of me in my house. I've got the TV's on a table, and under the table I've just got piles of books. And someone said, usually that would be DVDs. But anyway, it's books for me. So I have a lot of books, and I do like books, but I struggle with staying awake to read. So audiobooks probably.
Audiobooks.
I can smash through them on a few runs.
Talking about books, can you remember a character you dressed up for Book Week?
I can't. I do remember we had book weeks, but knowing me, I would have gone for the least dress up because I absolutely hate dressing up for things.
You were the school uniform Book Week kid.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Not really a fan of dressing up.
What would you sing at karaoke?
I don't know. I'd probably go for maybe an Amy Winehouse Rehab or something. Everyone knows and they can sing along and drown me out. That'd be good.
Yeah, that's actually a fair one to pick something that everyone knows, I think. Other than necessities, what is one thing you couldn't go a day without?
Oh, it's got to be a cup of tea. Absolutely.
Cup of tea, yeah. What kind of tea do you like?
Oh, honestly, come to my house. I have a whole cupboard full of tea. But yeah, every day, get up in the morning, pop the kettle on. It's just black tea with a bit of milk, no sugar.
Perfect. Sounds very nice. So moving on to food, if you could only eat one dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
This is a really hard question because I love food, except sultanas. They're disgusting.
I only know one other person that thinks sultanas are disgusting. Isn't that funny?
Well, kindred spirit, let me know.
Let you know.
If I could only have one dish for the rest of my life, look, I'll probably change my mind in about 10 minutes. But for now, I think I've settled on some pan-fried salmon with skin on, crispy, a little bit of lemon juice on top, some steamed veg. That'd be half the plate, I reckon. Broccoli's got a star because that's the best vegetable. And then probably some chips because I love chips.
I do love the broccoli, and also just for our listeners, Jen's doing all the hand movements too while she's here. I can just picture it and I'm going, oh, that sounds delightful. What are 3 movies you'd recommend to an audience? No,
my God, that's hard.
What are 3 movies or a movie? What's a movie that you'd recommend?
Well, I don't know that's one that needs to be recommended to people, but Notting Hill I have seen countless times, and I think I could repeat word for word the script. And the reason that that's the case is because when I was young and they used to have videos, you know.
VCRs, yep, go to the video shop.
So we ordered pizza for dinner once and it came with a free Notting Hill video, and we didn't really have many other videos, so Notting Hill was on repeat, but it's a good one. So
it is a good one.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend.
I do like that one. Who do you look up to?
Yeah, this is a really tricky one. No, like there's definitely someone that I look up to and that I know wouldn't really appreciate being mentioned on a podcast, and that's one of the reasons I look up to her because, she just absolutely does everything for other people and wouldn't want to stand in the spotlight about it and just gets on with it and works really hard and, makes other people's lives better. Yeah, people around me and in my circle who quietly go about being a superhero, I guess.
I like that. And I like that you can know enough about them to know that's respectful to not mention them. What's the best advice you've been given?
So I think there's a couple little bits of advice. I mean, they're the kind of things that people say to you and you think, wow, that's worded really well and that's really hit me. And now I can't remember the words that we used, but to be honest, there was there was one when I was talking to Mum, when I was younger, or maybe like looking at picking subjects or thinking about career choices and, getting a job and thinking, I don't want to do that, or who does that? And Mum said to me in a lot better words than this, but I guess the gist of it was, well, if you're going to be a garbage man, be the best garbage man you can be. So I guess it's not about what you're doing, it's what you're putting into it and making sure you're doing the best you can at whatever you're doing and really investing in getting a good job done.
I like that. That's good advice.
There's another one that was, I was talking to someone a few weeks ago and they said, just keep in your own lane. And I think that when it comes to a world that's so flooded with social media and everyone posting photos of the best moments of their lives and
highlight reel.
Yeah, the highlight reel. And I mean, it's hard not to end up in the spot where you're comparing yourself to other people.
It's good advice. And I think, particularly at the moment, I think, so be the best garbage man you can be, stay in your own lane. So Jen, you've been here for, you said, 5 or 6 years. What's some of the favourite memories that you have of BCG so far?
Oh, yeah. So I guess it's like a little family here, which is good when you move a long way from home. So we have some fun times while doing some serious work as well. But, I learned how to fly our drone, and a few years ago it actually got taken by an eagle or a hawk. I don't know.
Got taken, like completely taken?
No, so it came and swooped and pulled the battery out, which meant that we lost control of the drone. And, it sort of looks like a bird in the air. So this one's a fixed wing and flew across to the paddock next door, and we probably spent the next hour and a half looking for it.
Did it crash?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was all in pieces. So I still have a job, so that's good. But I felt pretty bad after that one. And it took us about an hour and a half to find it in the paddock and all the bits. So the camera's over there, the battery's over there, and one wing's over here. And but I guess, they're actually built to fall apart if they crash. So
oh, good. So it wasn't
a
wrecked.
Positive thing. Yeah.
Still got a job.
Still got a job.
You're too good. You wouldn't. They wouldn't get rid of you just because of that, Jen. Well, Jen, thank you. We might have to finish this before the thunderstorm gets any louder. Thank you so much for your time today, Jen. We really appreciate it, and we are really lucky to have Jen at BCG. All the work that she does, just so knowledgeable and always willing to help, and we really appreciate it, and we are so fortunate. So hopefully our listeners have learned a little bit more about you. I've learned a little bit more about you. I've really enjoyed myself.
Thanks, Janine. You've just fully pumped my tyres there.
Excellent, great. I'm Janine Batters, and this has been the BCG Podcast.